Have a second camera in the room to make sure that your virtual participants can see all the in-room participants. You can run this kind of hybrid meeting with just one camera pointed at the speaker. But if you want to include everyone, it's important that the people participating on Zoom can see the people participating in person. One of the biggest challenges in a hybrid meeting is to create this feeling that we're all in one meeting together. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that will help you create hybrid meetings where everybody feels that they are participating in a single common meeting. My name is Markus. I am a hybrid meeting expert. Use the links below the video to download my free hybrid meeting checklist or to buy this t-shirt. We're still on tip number 1 about using a second camera. You can actually also use a third camera. If your second camera shows half the room to the online participants, you can use the third one to show the other half. The easiest way to add a second or third camera is to use your phone. Just log in to the same meeting with the app and put your phone on a tripod. The one I'm using is the JOBY GripTight ONE, and there's a link to it in the description below. Tip number 2 for building inclusive hybrid meetings is to explain the constraints of your hybrid meeting setup to everybody. For example, in my typical hybrid meeting layout, we cannot use the Zoom chat in the room. There's 2 reasons for this. 1. The laptop is far away, it's on the other side of the room. 2. If somebody sends a private chat message to that laptop, it will actually be visible to everybody who is in the room, and we don't want that. We're going to come back to another aspect of this topic in tip number 5. A constraint like this is probably not obvious to the people participating online only because they see the chat right there in front of them. That's why it's essential that you explain the constraints of the meeting so that everybody's on the same page. Tip number 3 is to remember that in the room you are unmuted. And in practical terms, that means when you're participating in the room, do not whisper to the person next to you, especially if you're using a conference speakerphone like this, which is actually what I recommend. This is the PolySync 20. And the microphones are very sensitive. They will zero in on the person talking, even if they're whispering. And what's going to happen if you whisper in the room is that sound is going to be transmitted into the Zoom meeting and you will disturb the people who are joining online. And this is something that is not immediately obvious if you're participating in the room, because you may be used to the idea that you can quietly whisper something to the person next to you. But with the technology in the room, it will be amplified. So don't whisper. Instead, if you have something to say, say it in front of the whole class. If you're getting value, hit the like button. Tip number 4 for building an inclusive hybrid meeting is to ask for help. Firstly, ask for help in setting up the meeting. That will make sure that the people participating in the room feel included in the process. Secondly, ask for help and feedback from the people participating online. Some aspects of the setup may look great to you in the room, but they may not work for the people who are participating via video conferencing. So make sure to actively ask, how did they experience the meeting? Tip number 5 is to remember that the video feed from the room to the Zoom meeting and the screen that's in the room, they both serve 2 purposes and in a way 2 different audiences. Firstly, the main camera feed from the room to the online meeting. Of course, the main purpose is to show the speaker to the online audience. But there is a second purpose as well, because a lot of in-person participants are also going to watch that feed. It may be a bit of a weird experience if I'm speaking in the room and people are not looking at me, instead they're looking at the screen. Just be aware of this and make sure that people can see the visuals that you're presenting regardless of where they're watching. Secondly, we have the screen in the room, which could be a TV or a projector. One of its purposes is to show the faces of the online participants to the people participating in the room. A second purpose of the screen is as a presentation screen to show your visual aids to the people who are in the room. One way to manage these multiple purposes of the video feed and the screen is to put your visual aids and your video feed next to each other. A great way to create these split screen layouts is to use OBS Studio. To learn how, click the link here above me. In just a moment, I'm going to share a bonus tip that's going to help you set up your hybrid meetings. If you've been getting value from the video so far, please consider subscribing to my channel. I post a new video here every Thursday, and they're always about helping you engage better with your audience. So just hit the big red subscribe button, which is also completely free. And here's that bonus tip. You can download my free hybrid meeting checklist with the link below the video. In that checklist, I cover some of the most important aspects of setting up and running a hybrid meeting. So just click the link below. And for even more hybrid meeting tips, click or tap the screen right here. In that video, I cover the 6 most important things that you will need to set up a hybrid meetings, and I will show you examples of a budget setup and a more premium setup as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.